All right, welcome back to the Amato Report. We've been talking about the rise of anti-socialism in America. Now, a new poll comes out that says less than one half of Americans do not believe in capitalism anymore. Let that sink in. And as you know, this show is pro-capitalism, pro-entrepreneurialism, pro-business, and pro-America. And so when we see a statement like that, it blows our minds. And we know you, our viewers, are the same way. That's why you tune in. Join me this time to weigh in on that very topic is someone that you may be aware of. He's got a tremendous past experience in covering the markets and covering money, business in the media. He's a former anchor at CNBC, former anchor at Fox Business News, former senior editor of the Wall Street Journal. Let's welcome to the show Dennis Kneale. Dennis, great to have you with us. You're also author of the book, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. I just want to throw that out there. Here is why I'm shocked to see this statement. Less than half of Americans do not believe in capitalism anymore.
It's less than half of Americans do believe. More than half of Americans no longer think capitalism ever worked if it ever did. Right. Right. It's a shocking thing, isn't it? Because capitalism is profoundly fundamental to what makes us America. And capitalism is what has built our nation. Capitalism is what lifted over a third of the developing world out of poverty and into the middle class in the past 10 or 20 years. It's because if you provide a good service or a good product that helps give people a better life, it will beat a path to your door and you will get wealthy doing it, right? We should be happy for that. But today, Democrats, the education system, the media have turned us from a land of opportunity into a land of envy.
Is it democratic socialism?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And now we see what the Democrats have wanted to do all along. They finally bared their claws and admitted it. They want communism. They want a socialist takeover. And they're letting this Democrat Socialists of America kind of steal the march and take over the leadership of the party, right? In the direction when they've got 140,000 members in a nation of 340 million people. It's kind of the mouse that roared, isn't it, Rick?
It is. Do you think there's ever a chance we can turn the tide on this?
Absolutely there is. And we're seeing signs of that. First of all, I don't know where they went, but some moderate Democrats posted a few weeks ago on the X platform, single most important media platform in the world. And they said, we are not socialists. We are capitalists. I don't know where they went. They ought to start that campaign far more. But also look at Oregon. My newest book up on Amazon now is called Oregoners, How One State Chased Away Businesses and People with Their Stupidly Liberal Policies. And in Oregon, which has been a Democrat supermajority for over a decade, which has not elected a Republican government since 1982, in Oregon, it turns out in May, in the primary election, 83% of voters voted against the Democrat governor's $4 billion tax increase for the state transportation department. They threw it out. And when that many liberal Oregon voters are voting against what the Democrat Party and the Democrat governor wanted to do, that's a sign for the rest of the blue state Democrats everywhere in the country. They're getting tired of it. Even the liberals, are getting tired of it.
Well, we just saw James Carville. I read in an article that the former, of course, Democratic strategist to Bill Clinton, he called Democratic socialists, and I'll clean it up, effing stupid idiots.
And the people who elect them. But look what's happening. We elected that commie Mamdani as mayor in the most capitalist city in the world, arguably. How did they do that? Oh my gosh. I can't believe they did that. But meanwhile, in Portland, Oregon, the previous election, they said, hold my beer. They elected 4 members of the Democrat Socialists of America to the 12-member city council. And those 4, with 2 other allies, now control the agenda there. And it's really bad shape that the policies that come out of these stances from the socialists are just inevitably bad for America, bad for whatever local government is doing it.
Yeah, Dennis, Let me get your take on this. I just interviewed Alex Sawyer. She's a political editor of the Washington Times. I asked her what she thinks democratic socialism will mean for the midterm elections. And she says, look, I don't have a crystal ball, but here's the way I see it. And it sent a shiver up and down my spine. And what she said was, look, midterms have lower turnout. Typically, who does turn out are the highly motivated political people, and those are the Democratic Socialists right now. So,
Yes.
so there's a red alarm alert.
And they're good at organizing, right? And they've turned it into a social event. There's a new story out today about that. They're hosting smokers and get-togethers and parties and stuff, But my gosh, their stances, didn't they just come out with an actual formal stance saying they wanted to eliminate the Supreme Court, eliminate the presidency?
Yeah.
I mean, they're drunk with power right now. But in New York City, which just elected a couple Democrat nomination for Congress, which means they will get into Congress, okay? A couple of these commie socialists they elected. And I checked into it, and literally these people got only 8% of registered Democrat voters to get into the Democrat nomination for Congress. That is shocking.
8%. Well, where'd the other voting demographic come from?
They didn't vote at all.
I see.
But when you count their votes and then you base it on, well, what's the total number of registered Democrats there? It turns out it's only 8% of that electorate is voting. And if you people sit there on the couch doing nothing to fight back against the ridiculous socialist takeover of your party, then shame on every one of you.
And that's okay. That's the point that we just made with Alex Sawyer. So what do you think, Dennis, pulling out your crystal ball, does this get reversed?
There's a chance right now, and the National Republican Party is missing out and blowing it. Please, Molly, you're in danger, girl. In Oregon, there's the best chance yet of electing the first Republican governor since 1982. Christine Drazan is in a rematch with the incumbent Tina Kotek, one of the first openly lesbian governors ever in America. She leads with that. I don't. And Christine is, this Republican seen as a blue state, is actually a few points ahead in the polls right now. Yet I'm hearing that Christine is having to go to local businesses and say, please contribute to my campaign. Why isn't the Republican Party and Republican Party PACs, why aren't they pouring millions of dollars into this campaign to elect the first Republican in Oregon? Do you know that in 2024, Donald Trump in this liberal state won more votes among Oregonians than Governor Kotek won in 2022 to get elected governor for the Democrats?
Amazing. Amazing. How did that happen?
And it happened because the state is far less liberal than it looks. It's one of those urban rural splits where all of those voters in the top 20% of the state in the top left corner end up dictating policies on the rest of the population. It's what happens between New York City and the rest of the state. It's what happens in California with Los Angeles versus the rest of the state. That's what's happening in Colorado with Denver. That's what's happening in Arizona with Phoenix or Tucson. And my gosh, when will they learn? Watch Oregon. It's a canary in the coal mine. It's so small that you see the results far sooner and in far sharper relief.
I love your title, the word Oregoners.
Isn't that good?
It is good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So Republican Party. So the takeaway here is for everyday people, get out and vote Republicans and common sense Democrats.
Yes.
And secondly, where is the Republican Party? Why
in Oregon? The problem is when you're number two for decades and you're feeding at the same trough as the number one player, you're pretty comfortable with losing. You're fine being out of power. And so I liken the Republican Party in Oregon and the National Party, for that matter, to the Washington Generals, who were paid good money to lose thousands of games to the Harlem Globetrotters. They didn't care. They're getting paid anyway. And it feels like it's that way of the Republican Party. Get into Oregon, guys. Fund Christine Drazan's campaign. There's a great opportunity here. It would send a message to the nation's blue states and to the Democrats that you've gone too far. You've let these kids 25 years old who know nothing about the world take over the leadership in the direction of your party. You've got to push back and go back to the center. That will help the country.
Dennis Kneale, I thank you for joining us. Not that you need to. Any final comment?
Well, I appreciate so much getting the airtime to even get that message out there. Only by complaining about things and standing up and being heard can we get any kind of change to happen. And then you've got to have factual, stat-based solutions, which I offer in my book, Oregoners, and the final conclusion. Check it out on Amazon. I need the money.
All right, there he is, folks. Former senior editor of the Wall Street Journal, former anchor over at CNBC and Fox Business News, Dennis Kneale. Dennis, we are staying on top of this topic as long as we need to. Certainly between now and midterms, and then probably between now and presidential election or general election.
We cannot any longer trust the mainstream media to do it for us. Right now, they play a game of it's what you don't say that counts. Many have ignored the president's speech, that extraordinary speech the other night on election interference by the Chinese. I mean, had a Democrat said that, it would be everywhere for days to come. Shame on them. And so it's really great that outlets like yours, Rick, are getting that voice out there.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Back with more right after this.